Lesson study is a dynamic and collaborative opportunity for teachers to become producers and consumers of their own staff development by creating, developing, planning, implementing, evaluating, and re-implementing collaborative made lessons. Teachers are really engaged in the purest form of a learning community. Most staff development is a come and get it type opportunity. It's given to teachers without many choices. This allows the teachers to identify areas where their students need additional assistance and to create best practice learning opportunities for our students. It gives teachers an opportunity to become better at what they do. And it also tears down those barriers that are often there with typical types of peer observation opportunities.
With lesson study, we start out, once we formed a group, by looking at the goals and setting our goals. The various levels of goal setting. We have our overarching goal, which is our long-term goal. Then we will also have a content-specific goal, which is based on the data analysis. And then we will have a goal that threads in the instructional strategies within the content goal. The long-term goal, which is our overarching goal, looks more at where we want students to go. We start at looking at our ideal student. What do we want our ideal student to look like when they're leaving Corporate Landing? And some of the examples might be a lifelong learner, a model citizen, a student who takes responsibility for themselves. We also look at the current students and their qualities at the current time, and we get examples like they don't take responsibility for themselves, they don't do their homework, they don't speak kindly to each other. So I ask the teachers, what do you want to focus on with the lesson study, and where do you want to take these students? And they pick their priorities and form a long-term goal. The 6th grade social studies long-term goal is to promote students' ability to understand content, to take responsibility for self, and to become effective problem solvers while interacting properly in a small group. Once we have established that goal, then we look at the gaps between our ideal student and where they are at the current time. And we start discussing how we can get students to move to the ideal setting, to the ideal situation from where they currently are. So then we start talking instructional strategies. Lesson study is not just one lesson, it's embedding the lesson within a unit within the entire curriculum. We use data analysis to determine which lesson we want to target for the research lesson, which is the one that is taught and then observed by the other teachers. Typically, it's a lesson that has been difficult to teach in the past, or one that data shows that we scored fairly low on.
Well, first, what you have is you have an SOL test, and we've gotten the results back from this past year. And since they didn't come until later in the year, we've taken a look at it, and we've gotten our highlighters out, and we've identified problem areas relating from our school to the city, and what kind of holes do we have to fill. And then we took our results from the same information and plugged them in per class. So each title, in this case, it says identify areas settled by immigrants. That question area, we are able to plug in each of our 4 class grades. And then we do a small computation and come up with an average for those 4 classes for that particular question area. We don't know what the question is, but we know what we got on that. Then we cut them out. Then we put them out on the board according to categories. And we've separated them to see where the problems are. And once you've eliminated all the things that are not a problem, you're left with what is a problem. And then you can identify what you want to tackle. Within your class, we do it as a team. An individual teacher could do this, but we found it much more beneficial to do it as a team. And you say, well, we're going to tackle, in this case, we're going to tackle civics and economics. We feel that government is a problem area, and we're going to address that. And we can tell by the scores that it's a worthwhile goal. And we're going to come up with, in the future meetings, to come up with activities to bring that out.
From an administrative point of view, it's providing teachers the time to sit down and really work together in concentrated blocks, because it does take time to review the data and select a lesson that you want to do, to exchange the ideas about how it's taught, types of activities that students are going to do, to look at the printed resources that are going to be used. It takes a great deal of time. It also takes money, because in order to do this, the teachers have to be free for the best portion of at least one day, sometimes two. Part of lesson study is the observation of what happens in the classroom. Not what the teacher is doing, but if the students are truly engaged in the lesson, are truly responding in a positive way. And so that when teachers go back and revisit the lesson, they rework those areas where the students didn't respond as well as they wanted. They try different techniques. And when the student is truly engaged in an entire lesson, real learning is taking place.